Anybody who knows me knows that I'm an overachiever, and I just want you all to know that I feel extremely inadequate amongst all of you. All of your degrees are far ahead of mine. Thank you all so much for having me. My name is Sam Acho. As you heard, I played 9 years in the NFL, played 4 years at the University of Texas, got a chance to win the William V. Campbell Trophy, the Academic Heisman Trophy. Currently, I also got my MBA, and currently I am an ESPN analyst, as you heard. What I want to talk to you today about is pressure. It's pressure. What do we do with pressure? A study was recently done that said that 48% of student athletes, when it comes to feeling anxiety, they rated their anxiety level at a 6 or above. About 550 student athletes were surveyed in the Pac-12 and about 350 staff members. And that same study said that 52% of student athletes have depressive thoughts or battle with depression. The same study said that about 80% of these student athletes wish that there were some type of resources they could have when it comes to mental health. And if you think that's a small subset, well, let's just go to the NCAA study from a year or two back that said that suicide is the third leading cause of death, mortality, when it comes to student athletes. So this is a real issue. As I mentioned, I'm Sam Acho. I didn't always plan on going to the NFL. I didn't have a dream of going to play 9 years. It was never my thought, my goal, my dream, my ambition. All I wanted to do was just have fun, right? I was a kid on Saturdays. I wasn't watching college football. I was watching cartoons. That was my thing. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was my show. But I have a younger brother named Emmanuel who we both went to UT, and some of y'all may know him as well from The Bachelor, from some of his uncomfortable conversations that he does. But he was the football guy. You're laughing. He hosted The Bachelor. He did. I'm married with kids, so that's not I'm gonna let him have that. He was the football guy. And so Emmanuel heard about this football camp. We were both in high school. I grew up in Dallas, Texas. There was a football camp at USC, and back in 05 and 06, USC, they were the perennial powerhouse. So we showed up at this football camp. I just came along because my brother wanted to go. He's my little brother. My dad made it a family trip, so we all came. We stayed with some family who lived in California. We show up to this camp. What we didn't realize was that it was an invite-only camp. And as you can probably guess, we were not invited. And not only was it an invite-only camp, it was their top 300 camp. So the top 300 student athletes from the entire state of California were showing up to this camp. For whatever reason, they let us in, and I don't know, my dad sweet-talked his way in. Maybe they saw how big we were. I don't know, but they let us into this camp, this top 300 camp, and we're doing the drills, and I was a competitor. As I mentioned, I'm an overachiever, as you heard, right? I want to be the best and be the first, so I'm in the front of the line trying to do all the drills, trying to go, and I'm going, I'm doing the drills, I'm doing the drills, and all of a sudden I get pulled back to go redo a drill again. See, the rest of my group, we were put in a pods of about 20 or 25 players. The rest of my group kept on going to the other drills, and one of the coaches at USC pulled me back to go and do the other drill again. I'm sitting there frustrated, confused, not sure why or what's going on. Well, I go and do the drills. I played defensive end or outside linebacker, so I was doing one-on-one pass rush drills against offensive linemen, and I was doing my thing, right? Beating the offensive lineman, trying to get to the quarterback. And so I do my drills, and I finish up, and I go with the coach. We're walking back. I'm trying to catch up with my group, and I'm finally walking with this coach. It was Lane Kiffin, the assistant coach at the time. And I said, Coach, and mind you, I didn't know who Lane Kiffin was, guys. I was literally, like, cartoons was my thing. I said, Coach, why'd you pull me away from my group? I wanted to lead. I want to achieve. I want to be the best, the first. Why are you pulling me back? He said, Sam, it wasn't a bad thing. We just needed to see you do those drills again because the head coach, Pete Carroll, wanted to see you in person. Mind you, I'm like, who's Pete Carroll? Straight up, video games. Video games is my thing, like teenage. And so come to find out, after this top 300 football camp, me and 5 other players get called up to Pete Carroll's office, and essentially he offers a scholarship on the spot. That's how my football story began. But it didn't end there. I got a chance to come to the University of Texas, and I got offered by all the different schools. I chose UT, and I like, as much as some of us see athletes as these guys who are men and women, athletes who are big and strong and fast and they're dedicated and they're confident. Like a lot of us are really broken on the inside. There's I'll get to that in a second. A lot of us are really broken on the inside. So I remember getting to Texas and wanting just to be the best and not sure if I would ever make it or not, if I would even get cut, if I would still be on the team. And finally, after getting a chance to play and to start, I graduated, played well, and I got to the NFL. And as soon as I got to the NFL, once again, I'm trying to achieve again. I won this award called the William V. Campbell Trophy. It's the academic version of the Heisman Trophy. And with that award came a $25,000 postgraduate scholarship. Excited about the scholarship. The only issue with the scholarship was that it had a 2-year expiration date. So my dreams were to go to the NFL and to go be the best in the NFL, but I also love learning and academics and school, and so I wanted to use this scholarship. And so after my first year in the NFL, I go find a school. I was playing with the Cardinals at the time, the school called the Thunderbird School of Global Management, and I start in the off season and even during the season going and get my MBA. I finish it up in about 2 or 3 years, achieving. Finally, some people may or may not know, and I know there are a lot of people in different teams here, the average NFL career span is about 3.1 years. Maybe it's a little bit higher, maybe 3.3 now. I got a chance to play 9 years. And in my 8th year, I thought I had reached the pinnacle. I thought I'd reached my goal, the heights, right? I'd signed a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract in the NFL. I was a starter. I was the guy, married, kids. From the outside looking in, I had it all together, but in all reality, I didn't. I was hurting on the inside, but I would cover it up with a smile. I was getting sacks and making plays, but I didn't have any relationships. And oftentimes as professional athletes, collegiate athletes, maybe you work with everyday athletes, high school athletes, we want to achieve. We don't know where to go when things don't work out well. But by the grace of God, I had a really good friend, not a teammate, not a coach, a friend who was with me at one of my lowest points. Maybe you all can be that friend for others. After I signed this deal, I remember everyone was congratulating me and high-fiving and all the things. And I remember feeling empty on the inside. And I remember, like, we all have all the pictures of our kids and our spouse. Like, I love my wife, I love my kids, but I wasn't being the dad that I wanted to be. For whatever reason, couldn't put my finger on it. Wasn't being the husband I wanted to be. Wasn't loving my wife well. Wasn't loving my kids well. Wasn't really loving anybody well. Became really selfish. And I remember it was a week before training camp. I'm sitting down with a friend of mine, as I mentioned, and I start to share with him some of my struggles. Like some of my frustration, some of my fears, hoping that my marriage makes it, like those kinds of struggles. This guy had known me for about 8 years. He had never seen the side of me. He was used to seeing the smile. Right? The $1 million smile, you're on TV. He's just seeing the smile. But I started to open up to this friend. And as I start to open up, tears begin to come down my eyes. Mind you, 6'3", 260, outside linebacker, sacking quarterback, tears coming down my eyes. And he looks at me. He's not a physician. He's not he's a strategist guy, right? Does business stuff. He looks at me in my pain and my frustration, my doubt, my fear, and a lot of my shame. And he says, "It's really nice to see you, Sam. It's really nice to see you." A lot of athletes that you all work with every single day, all they want is to be seen. To be seen. I had a coach in the NFL when I was with the Cardinals. We would go into our meeting rooms every single day, and on every day, training camp, we're meeting 2-3 times a day. We're on the field two a days, as you can imagine. And he had this sign on the wall. And some of y'all may have seen some of these signs, so you may experience some of this. But he had this sign on the wall that said, "You are what you put on tape." You as a player, you are what you put on tape. And I get it, like the achievement side of me gets it. Okay, every single day I got to go put something better on tape. And if I didn't do well the day before, I got to do better the next day. And then if I did great, I got to do it again and again. You are what you put on tape. But something about that, I think, with athletes, the reason it doesn't always sit well with us, the reason we need people to like really see us, is that I think a lot of us don't realize that we are so much more than what we put on tape. We're human. We have fears and doubts, pains, frustration, just like you. And oftentimes it could be magnified. Some of y'all may know some of these names. Some of y'all may have worked with some of these players. People like Tyler Helinski, college quarterback, took his life. People like John Chambers, soccer player, Oregon State, 2016, had nowhere to go. People like Jarrett Peterson, they called him Speedy, got a silver in the Olympics. 17 months later, took his life. We love to praise athletes. When I say we, I mean the public. Loves to praise athletes, but oftentimes athletes have nowhere to go with their problems. So my ask to you is, will you be a place, a safe haven, where athletes can go? You all have access. Like everyone else doesn't have access, right? And coaches, I get it, but coaches aren't worried about our mental health. Coaches want us to achieve and to perform. Fans aren't worried about our mental health. I work in media now. All we care about is who's the best or the worst and who's going to win, who's going to lose. But you all have access. And with that access comes a responsibility to listen, to see, and maybe even to allow yourself to be seen. If anybody knows about pressure, it's you. Whether it's medical school, residency, if anybody knows about pressure, it's you. When I finished up playing the NFL and I love to speak, as you heard, I've been speaking around different places, and I connected with our old primary care doctor, Kenny Boyd, now he was at Baylor, as a friend, just to talk about life and about mental health and what it looks like. Like I didn't connect with my coaches. I didn't connect with Coach Brown, didn't connect with my Coach Giles, my outside linebacker coach, didn't connect with my NFL coach. It was Kenny who I called. Because I knew he was there for me. I knew he saw me, he cared about me, and I also knew he understood the stressors at a certain level that I experienced. Will you be that friend for others? After that year when I signed that multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract and I said things weren't going well, and my friend, he saw me, I'm crying, he said, "It's good to see you." He recommended I go talk to a counselor or therapist, so I did. Right, mind you, I was like, in my mind, I'm like, the dream, right? Man, I got it together, and like I got two-parent household and married and kids, stability, and not worried about the money, but like I still needed to talk to somebody. And I get it, some of us in here aren't mental health professionals, but it's gonna take a multimodal approach to attack this issue of mental health, specifically in student athletes and professional athletes and Olympians. It takes a village. After that year, a couple things happened. I got benched. I tore my pec. I was out for the season. My wife, we were having our third child, and we had the baby, and everything was good, but a few hours later, she had some complications, so there were some major stressors there. By the grace of God, she made it, but it was hard. A few months after that, a friend of mine, a mentor of mine, he died from cancer. A few months after that, our house, we live in Chicago, our house flooded, a polar vortex, negative 50 degrees, pipe burst, boom, house floods. And a few weeks after that, I got released from the Chicago Bears. And I remember going back to the facility to get my bags and to get all my stuff and to figure out what was going to be next. And I remember walking through the lunchroom. And I saw this woman by the name of Katie Nagel. Katie is the assistant to our owner. And her and I developed a relationship. Once again, not a coach, not a fan, not a family member, somebody who worked in the building. And Katie saw me and she's like, "Oh, Sam, good to see you." And I said, hey, Katie, great to see you as well. Hey, got some news to share. And I said it just like this, got some news to share. I just got released by the team, so probably not going to be seeing you again. Smile on my face. And she did a double take. She said, Sam, I'm so sorry. You know, I saw that smile on your face, and I thought you were telling me good news. I am so sorry. This can't be easy. Katie saw me. And at that moment, I realized that something had to change in me. I couldn't walk around putting a smile on all the time and act like I had it all together with fans and friends and family. I had to start being real with people. I had to start being honest and being vulnerable, right? You talked about, I wrote a book about this, right, called Let the World See You. Like after all that stuff you heard happen, pipe burst, get released, get injured, all these things, right? Like I started processing and writing, Let the World See You, how to be real in a world full of fakes. We live in a world, as you all know, full of fakes. And Olympians experience it, NFL, MLB, WNBA, you name it, high school. There's a lot of fake out there. And we need people who can be real with us. There's a proverb, and I'll end with this. It says that an enemy multiplies kisses, but wounds from a friend can be trusted. We need friends. We need allies. We need people who are going to step out of their box and be willing to be vulnerable with us, pro athletes, collegiate, as I mentioned. And then lastly, we need people who we can trust. Because I get it. I know a coach is working for his job or her job. I know a general manager is trying to protect his or her job. I know that position coaches and strength coaches are worried about their jobs. But a lot of y'all are working with collegiate athletes, 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 19-year-olds. Some of y'all working with pro athletes, some high schoolers. We need somebody, just one person, who we can trust. And maybe it's you, or you, or you, or you, or you, or maybe you. But we all need someone, because in a world full of overachievers, a world full of fakes, we need people who we can be real with. So my ask as I sit down and listen to our next speaker is, will you be those people? People who see us, people who are willing to step into conversations, albeit uncomfortable conversations, and people who are willing to give us those healthy wounds that we need. Sam, you're not okay. Sit down and talk. Or I've been there before. Hey, let me bring this person to the conversation. Because life, our lives, your lives, they matter, they mean something. The names you heard aren't just statistics. They are real people with real stories who you get to affect, opportunity you get to affect every single day. Be the change that you want to see. Thank you.